What's up, fight fans? It's the TST Alyas here, back again with another banger. And today we have a very special guest because who I have is the reigning and defending WBC junior middleweight champion. He is the Towering Inferno, Mr. Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing good, doing good. How are yourself?
I'm good. Just thank you for taking the time out to talk to me today, man.
No problem, no problem. Thank you for having me.
And I want to get straight to business because you're defending your belt against Keith One-Time Thurman on October 25th, MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada. Talk to me about this matchup.
I think it's a big one. It's a big one. He's a big name, former pound for pound fighter, and me as a world champion myself, I want to make that mark in this sport as well.
Yeah, and what's interesting about Keith Thurman is, he was one of the biggest names of the previous era. Did you ever think that you would actually step in the ring with him, specifically even for a world title fight?
It never really was the thought of fighting him, but I do remember watching him growing up and meeting him too. So it's funny how the world turns, huh?
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting because, you fought a lot of big names as of recently. Arguably, Keith Thurman is the biggest one so far. Do you feel like this is the fight that will bring more casual fans to your boxing career?
Definitely, definitely. Again, he's a more notable name, so having a win over him was it's gonna do good for my career.
Yeah, and you are one of four champions in arguably boxing's most stacked division. Obviously, Xander Zayas has a WBO belt. Abbas Barrow just recently got elevated to WBA. Bakram Murtazaliev is IBF. But you are the most consistent champion. You're the one who has the most defenses. What kind of statement are you trying to make October 25th when you make your third defense against Keith Thurman?
I'm just gonna show you guys again why I'm the best 154.
For sure. And it's interesting because 2025 has been an interesting year, but everybody's been kind of fighting with Riyadh season promotions except for PBC. And and recently you have been the most consistent name on those PBC cards. How does it feel that, the banner, the promotion has kind of entrusted you to really lead this new era into PBC?
I think it's good. We've been fighting with PBC for a while. I think since 2018, 2019, I think, and they see me grow from a younger man to now a full-fledged champion. So, the fact that they have trusted me to headline shows and put me in big shows, I'm very grateful.
Yeah, and as a boxing fan, first and foremost, early in your career it was really exciting, to see you so long for 154, but you were an inside fighter, really going to war with people. But as of recently, I loved seeing you utilizing your range, establishing your jab and stuff. What was the shift to kind of, utilize your long reach, your length and stuff like that on this most recent run?
It's just more listening to my pops, my coach. And he's always told me these things. The fight could be a lot easier, but then through maturity, you start to listen a little bit more, focus on what they're really saying, because you can hear what they're saying, but you're not really understanding it. And I think that's what's been going on lately.
Yeah, and the turnaround really started after you suffered your only defeat against Brian Mendoza. What was the biggest lesson you learned from that fight?
It's just a reminder that you cannot play in this sport. No mistakes.
For sure. And 2025 has been a big year of fights, and there's a lot of fighters that could be, potentially fight of the year, Terrence Crawford area in a way, but one guy that's creeping up is yourself because the resume that you're building, two title defenses, potentially a third one in October. Where does this year rank in your pro career?
I think it's been very well reared. Probably one of my best because again, we're a world champion and this is going to be our third time defending this year, and I planned on keeping this belt. So we're going to end this year good.
Yeah, and boxing siblings, they're very common in the sport, but you and your sister Gabriella are very rare because you guys are both fighting at world level. You're the WBC champion. She's undisputed at flyweight. What's it like going on this boxing journey with her, and how does she help you grow as a fighter?
Oh, we both train together, so we're always seeing what we're improving on and what we need to improve on through the camp. And it's just motivational, watching her win her fights and her watching win my fights, and it keeps us in that boxing world where a lot of people like to take breaks from. But while I'm kind of coming into camp, she'll be fighting. So, or when she's coming into camp, I'll be fighting. So we're always on boxing.
For sure. And obviously, you've achieved, one of the main goals in boxing, which is being a world champion. Every aspiring boxer wants to do that. But, there's other, reasons why people get into the sport. Some want to just get out of tough situations. Other wants to just test themselves at the highest level. Aside from being a world champion, what's your biggest why for getting into the sport of boxing?
You know what? And it's been achieved for me already. I mean, happy that I became world champion too. But you know, boxing is almost a family sport for me. So it just keeps our family together. Not that it keeps it together, but it keeps us closer always. And you know, I'll box for the rest of my life if that's what it is. I get to be around my family forever.
For sure. And speaking of family, your father, you talked about it before, as you've grown up, you've realized all the sacrifices that your father has done, especially, traveling for the amateurs, in this pro career. What has he made of you and your sister kind of reaching this level and kind of continuing to thrive?
It's just and he's just a father. I can't explain it, but maybe when I have my own kids, but just taking care of his children and beyond, because some people just raise their kids to 18 and kick them out, make them go to college or whatever the case. But he's been here the whole way, and now we're very comfortable in life, and it's just we're gonna keep going until the wheels fall off.
Absolutely. And going back to 154, I know you're not looking past Keith Thurman. That's the task at hand ahead. But, is there any other guys? There's a lot of champions, a lot of contenders. Is there any other guys on that hit list?
There's all kinds of names, but whoever they give me, I'll take.
Absolutely. And Sebastian, my last question is what can fans expect October 25th when you step in the ring against Keith One Time Thurman?
Expect a great fight. We're gonna make sure the MGM burns down, Towering Inferno style.
The Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck on October 25th.
Thank you so much.